What's going on, guys? Nathan here. Today I'm going to give you the basic poker strategy that has literally skyrocketed my results lately, and I think it will for you too. Alright guys, so today I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step example hand showing you exactly how I use this basic poker strategy that nobody seems to be talking about these days in my game that has skyrocketed my results lately. Let's jump into it. So guys, the biggest key here is to understand that aggressive poker is winning poker. This is one of the hardest lessons that I had to learn early on in my professional poker career, and this is consistently the #1 thing that I find that my students struggle with to this day is they play too passive. And guys, the problem with that is that you don't make hands very often in poker. You already know this. I don't need to make a video about that. Most of the time, nobody has anything in poker. And by the way, in the example I'm going to show you today, we don't have anything. There's going to be a big bluff at the end, by the way, as well. So I'm going to show you exactly how to push good poker players out of the pot, even when you have nothing. Let's talk about it right now. All right, so aggressive poker, guys, you want to enter the pot 90% of the time with either a raise or re-raise. I'm talking about before the flop. Now, for those of you guys who are brand new to the game, I'll just give you a quick list of some hands that I would recommend playing. I would recommend playing pocket aces all the way down to pocket twos, ace king, ace queen, ace jack, ace 10, king queen, king jack, queen jack, and only if they're suited, meaning that both cards are the same suit. For example, heart, heart, jack 10, 10, 9, and 8, 7. Now this is a pretty tight range and you can play a few more hands, and I do have charts in my free poker cheat sheet. That'll be the top link in the description below if you want to know more. But let's jump into the hand. You have ace jack offsuit. As we just mentioned, that's a hand we'll be playing, and you are in middle position in a $1, $2 cash game. Now I'm going to briefly put the positions at the poker table on your screen just so you know what I'm talking about here. This is a 6-player game. So in this situation, a tight poker player calls us in the big blinds. And the reason why that's important, guys, is because we're going to be acting last on the flop, turn, and river. Massive proven statistical advantage. Let's go see that flop. So the flop comes down with the 10 of clubs, 4 of diamonds, and 5 of hearts. Us with our ace of hearts and jack of spades. We've got nothing on this board, guys. This is not a good flop for our hand. So what should we be doing in this spot? Well, guys, this is really where the heart of my strategy starts kicking in, is we want to be applying constant pressure post-flop. And you have to do this sometimes, guys, even when you totally miss the board like this. So I would suggest c-betting. Now a c-bet stands for a continuation bet in poker. We are continuing the aggression that we've already built before the flop. I would suggest making a c-bet of around half pot in this situation. So for example, say the pot is $10, you bet $5. And guys, the reason why we want to do this is because we need to remember that a random hand in poker misses the flop roughly 2 out of 3 times. So even though we don't have anything here, there is a good chance, better than coin flip chance actually, that our opponent does not have anything either. So this is why we can make a relatively small bet here and turn an immediate profit. But let's just assume that the tight player calls us in this situation, because it's not a very interesting video if we just win the hand right now. So let's go see the turn. All right, guys, so I've made many videos here on the channel talking about when to bet again on the turn, but sometimes you need to just slow it down as well. And on this turn card of a 3 of spades, this is a spot where I'm often just going to check back. Assuming the tight player checks, we're now going to check on the turn, and we're going to do this for pot control. And really the biggest reason I'm doing this is because I don't think that this turn card really changes anything. Let's try to put this player on a range at this point. A tight player calls us pre-flop. Well, we know that they don't play a ton of trashy hands. They probably got something decent, and then they called us on the flop as well. Remember, the flop was 10, 4, 5. There's not a whole lot going on there. I'm assuming that this player's probably going to have a hand like 10x, meaning any kind of top pair. They're going to have a hand like pocket 9s, pocket 8s, pocket 7s, pocket 6s, possibly a 4, a hand like ace 4, for example, or a hand like ace 5, something like that, something decent. I expect that if they had a hand like ace king, ace queen, ace jack, king queen, or king jack, that they already would have folded on the flop. And now you're probably asking yourself, what about pocket aces, pocket kings, pocket queens, pocket jacks? Well, guys, I would have assumed that they would have re-raised us pre-flop so we can discount those hands. I hope you guys are starting to understand how we can put the pieces of the puzzle together here in a poker hand and narrow a player like this down to a range of hands. So that's the reason why I choose to just check behind here and control the size of the pot, because I think we're just going to get called by one of these pair hands, and instead we can look to bluff some rivers, and let's talk about that right now. So the river comes down pretty good for us, the king of diamonds. Now at this point you're probably asking yourself, Nathan, are you doing some drugs or something? This king of diamonds, this didn't didn't help us at all. How does this help us? Well, guys, this card actually is very good because it is what I call a scare card in poker. Guys, remember the range that we just put this player on? A hand like top pair, middle pair, bottom pair, or some sort of middle of the road pocket pair, like a pocket sevens. None of these hands like to see this king on the river. Also, this card really fits in well with what I call our perceived range as the pre-flop raiser. This is something that I break down in detail in my first poker book, Crushing the Micro Stakes, is that when we raise pre-flop, players are often putting us on a lot of big cards, such as hands with an ace, a king, a queen, or a jack. And what do we got on the river here? A king. So guys, this is a really good spot, especially versus one of these tight and risk-averse type players that you often find in today's games that doesn't want to play a big pot without a really strong hand. This is a spot where you can often execute the bluff here and take it down. And now the other important point here, guys, is that you need to bet a significant amount. The biggest problem that a lot of people make here is they'll only bluff half pot or even less. And the problem is, guys, is that when you bet a small amount here, you're just begging them to look you up with a hand like 10-9, with a hand like pocket sevens. We want to put these hands to the real test instead, and that is why I suggest betting 75% pot instead. So for example, once again, pot's $20, bet $15. Don't bet $10. Don't bet $5. Guys, bottom line, what I call smart pressure in poker is winning poker. You need to apply aggression in the right spots against the right poker player types on the right board textures like this, and I think you're going to have a lot more success in poker. Guys, like and subscribe if you found this video helpful, and if you want to know my entire strategy to smash the small and mid-stakes games, make sure you grab a copy of my free poker cheat sheet. That will be the top link in the description below. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. All the best at the poker tables. Unless you're on mine, I will catch you next time.